Buckle up for AEC Trailblazers, The Founders Files, where we crack open the stories of the brightest minds in the AEC startup scene. Forget institutional pitches. We're diving deep into the real personal journeys of these industry disruptors. Get ready for some casual chats firsthand.
All right. Welcome everybody to the Trailblazers podcast, where we interview the most amazing founders of the AEC scene. Today with us, we have Marty Cornish. Marty is a seasoned entrepreneur with a proven track record, having successfully executed over $400 million in project cost estimations. That's huge. He co-founded EasyPaint and Roundtrip Sports. His current venture, Workpack, brings automation and reliability to construction cost estimators, making the process more seamless and efficient. Marty, you want to say hi?
Great to be here, Valentin. Hey, everyone.
Do you want to add anything else to your bio?
No, I mean, I've been an entrepreneur for quite some time, just sort of seeking out to solve problems, and so I mean, that's pretty. You did a pretty good job, high level.
I thought you were going to say you were a baseball player, but
yeah. I played baseball through college, and that was a big part of my life through that time, and basically that enabled my first business, which was a sports training business called Roundtrip Sports. We had some former professional athletes and current as well, do sports training for primarily kids ages 8 to 18. We had a 9,000 square foot facility in Maryland, and it was fun. Mike Tyson's son was trained there, and so Mike Tyson came in there, and it's cool business. But sold that one after 2 years, and started EasyPaint, which was a managed network of paint and drywall contractors, and that sort of provided the input for Workpack, doing a lot of the takeoff and estimating for paint and drywall contracts. Encountered this problem that it was kind of a sticking point in the pre-construction workflow. Actually, winning a job required a lot of clicking and tracing, and then crazy Excel spreadsheets, and a lot of work before you even win the project. And so I started talking around to a lot of different construction companies that we were working with, and then others as well, and realized that this was a bigger problem, kind of industry wide. So
cool. It's just such a big change. You went from sports into like actual construction, not even like tech at the beginning. How do you decide it? How do you ended up working in construction? Do you have the background, your family comes from the business, or how do you ended up in the industry?
My first job out of college was working for Sherwin-Williams. I managed a paint store in Georgetown, in Washington, D.C. And just sort of, that was how I dropped into the paint industry at that time, and then started this company after that, EasyPaint, to solve some of the challenges that I saw there. So it's just, obviously from my side, living through the journey, it all sort of seems to make sense. But mostly the thread is just kind of like following the challenges that I saw in front of me. A little bit of the call it Larry David neuroticism or whatever it is. You see the world and it's like, well, that shouldn't be that way, kind of thing. And then, a lot of it you keep to yourself and just get frustrated. But some of it, if you can solve it, at least I thought I could solve some of these things. So I went out to try to do it. So you get a team together and try to do it.
I don't know what you're speaking about, like problems in our industry. Everything works so fine. And how do you decide to transition from Easy Paint into a full tank solution? What drive you to it? It was a second exit, and then you sold that company, and then you started Workpack, or how that happened?
My previous co-founder was Dennis Abrams, the former CEO, Benjamin Moore, who worked directly for Warren Buffett, and taught me a huge amount in about leadership and company building and all of that. It's we tried to make everything as automated as possible with Easy Paint, and there were a few main sticking points in the business, and a lot of them were had to do with this takeoff and estimating process. Another one was kind of the customer service issues. Everybody wanted Marty to come out to the job site to solve their problems. It's like because I was the name in the spreadsheet, right? So so that was kind of, and then the financing, right? You need to be able to handle 60-day or 90-day. Sometimes general contractors and developers pay slowly. So there are a lot of opportunities, I think, in construction tech for financing and for customer service improvements that can help solve some of the other challenges that we encounter. But takeoff and estimating was one that was particularly painful for me because I was clicking and tracing a whole lot and wanted to try to solve it with image recognition and AI. It was kind of becoming possible. I met my co-founder on this one, Henrik, and he built a prototype in the second meeting, and then it was like, oh, well, we can actually do this, And so Henrik has a lot of experience in document management and image recognition, built a lot of form recognition technology for medical and some of the early OCR stuff. So, he had a good background for this. And, once he realized it's really possible to make this a thing, we started seeking out investors and growing it. We already had a little bit of a prototype going, but it took about 5 years to get to this point where everybody loves Workpack. People are using it every day, saying, I love it. Customer last week said, I did a project within 30 minutes that would have taken me 2 to 3 hours. Last week said I did 3 projects in 45 minutes that would have taken me 6 hours. And so, that kind of 5 to 10x time savings is possible with the new technology that exists today.
That's so cool, and I feel that's the way you have been able to stay at least 5 years in the market. Otherwise, it's impossible. If you're not bringing a lot of value to the table, it's almost impossible. But for me, it amazed me. I feel it's always the same thing. When you start a tech company at the beginning, you feel that with an MVP or a POC, you feel that, oh, we can do this. And I'm not saying this is your case, but we all get excited oh, this is going to be easy. We're going to do it fast. But then it gets exponentially more complex. And what you thought it was going to be only a couple of weeks or months, it ends up being years and sometimes even decades. It's just...
Yeah, I've never set a specific timeline, for myself. It's kind of just we can do this. Let's go. And I think that's been helpful to me because you're right. It can take way longer than you think initially. Ours has taken most of 5 years to get to the point where customers are using our product every day and loving it. So, we've had tremendous investor support, tremendous team support during that time. We've made great progress on this. It started five years ago for me just calling random construction companies and offering to estimate jobs for them for free. Just saying, hey, Valentin, can I do some estimating for you for free? And many people said no to that, right? Even trying to give it away, right? Give away estimating services because who the heck is this guy calling me, right? And so, but the people who said yes, I just, went to the library, opened up Craftsman, opened up RS Means, and just figured it out because I knew a lot of paint, drywall, tile, finishes estimating, but I didn't know MEPs or civil or structural estimating, roofing. I didn't know any of these things. And so for about 2 years, we did estimating services as we were, building this out and learning all of this stuff, which helped us talk to a lot more customers, understand the market a lot better, understand what the needs were. But it, really hardened our beliefs, during that time, because we saw, okay, this is actually a bigger problem, when, our third customer or something was Turner, it's like, almost 2 years ago, and it's like, if it's a problem all the way up, to all of the different companies in construction, and the smallest ones, then you're probably onto something. So
I bet it was not, you said a lot of the companies said no. I bet at the beginning, most of them said no, because not because your product is bad or your service is not really good, but it's the way it is. Like at the beginning, companies, they don't know you. And it's hard that you have to keep selling, keep trying to show value to them.
I actually would say it was because like I didn't know, and so I was bad and the product was bad at that time. Like it actually was that. Because we've been showing, people would talk to us from the very beginning because it's like, okay, you're going to save me 90% of my time on takeoffs. Like, of course, show me how. And so, and then we did, and it's like, well, that's not really going to save me that much time. Like, okay, well, but now we're there. And so now when we show people, they're like, wow, and they say even more colorful things, than wow. They're blown away. I mean, people are blown away, to be able to generate a takeoff that would take, people have been doing this every day for, 30, 40 years in many cases, to generate something that would take days in, 2 minutes. It's like, that's pretty incredible, and it is incredible. I'm amazed, I'm demoing this to 10 different people every day. And I'm still amazed at, almost every time I do these sessions. So
I feel I think the feeling is amazing. Like having a product that you reach a certain point that you're proud of it, your clients are proud of it. It takes time though, but I think what I'm also always amazed is these are, like you mentioned, for example, Turner, these are like big companies, who could create these tools themselves. Not saying they will, because it's not their business, but they could. And they're not. They are innovating on specific portions of the process, but there's so much to do. What's your take on this? What do you think that most of these big companies are not creating their own tools, or do you think are they not doing enough internally, or they will always have to rely on external companies? What's your take on this?
I mean, a lot of it is just like, it's not their skill set, I mean, building software is not, for the NR400, we have 12 of the NR400 actively using WorkPack now. For those companies, it's not it's not where they make their money, building software. So, while they certainly could allocate resources to it, we've got some of the best people in the world working on this. Yeah, it's like people who have years, decades of experience in AI and document management and image recognition software. And so it's like, if they want to use the best products in the world, that doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to build the best products in the world. And so, teams like ours that, have assembled a group of people who are each among the best in the world at, building software, that's how you get, products and companies are just, extensions of people. So, you have to, if you put a great team together, they can typically build great things. So it's the same for the best construction companies. They've put together the people who have built amazing things, and so they build amazing structures.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I agree with you on that. Like, what I found working through many companies on my life is that it's so hard first to create a product if you're doing services, because construction is a service, it's not a product. So first, that's already really hard when you have to create a product and you're doing services, unless you start doing services to learn about that, or to learn about a specific problem and then turn that into a product. That's different. But I feel like you need to do two things at the same time. First, it's hard. And secondly, the problem is that you're doing services and then this is a really specific problem, and you're going to always put your attention on your business, which is the services, the construction services. So I've never seen a company or that they launch a product that everybody's using in the industry out of a construction firm, because it's really hard. Like, maybe if you separate and create a new entity and you found, but that's going to be a new startup. So like within create a company within a construction company, I don't know, so hard.
Yeah, there are a couple of examples of sort of internally built tools that roll out. I agree. It's hard to do. So,
yeah, you can, and also the fact that you're fueled by the pressure you have from your investors and from being successful. It's not the pressure you're going to have if you start your company from within another company, where
right.
the money can keep flowing. It's just different. You're
yeah. I mean, Back Tech is one example that has been quite successful with their estimating tool, the Destiny tool, and I know the team over there quite well, and they've been pretty successful at building a tool that a lot of people are using. It took them a long time, like a really long time, and you're right. I mean, they'll tell you that they didn't have the same pressures, right? It was different. They had good partners that were willing to see, over the long term, and they had a few different iterations of products, and then finally, spun out in order to do it. And that's probably the right way to do it. They also have a great team over there. And so I think it can work. Anything can work. In business, there are a whole bunch of ways to be successful. There are a lot of ways to screw up too. But there are long lists of ways to fail. But there's still a lot of ways to succeed. And so, everybody has a slightly different journey, and there aren't a huge number of huge construction tech success stories to look at yet. I think we're kind of at the early innings of construction tech, of a booming construction tech. Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, I agree on that. Like the amount of venture firms, they're just specific to construction. The numbers are growing. The numbers are growing in terms of the amount of investment every year. Like, I feel our industry, like, there's so many opportunities. Like, the amount of startups is so low for an industry that is so big. So I agree on that. I think it's gonna change, and that's gonna happen soon. It's already happening.
I think it's happening too. Yeah. I think it's happening too.
But that going back to Workpack, something that me as an architect, I'm an architect in rehab now. I always say that that I used to do a lot of BIM models, and for me, like, if you ask me, we do estimations based on PDFs. For me, at the beginning, it was nonsense. At the beginning. I was like, you have these really cool models. I was really naive. I was really young by thinking that But at the time, I was like, we have these really cool models. I bet everybody's using that to get all the materials and the estimations out of the BIM model. But then when I really started working in construction, it turns out it is not. Most people still do their estimations out of PDFs. And your tool is amazing because it helps people to estimate based on those PDFs. But do you feel that's going to change in the near future, or is still going to be done on a PDF and not on a BIM model?
Yeah. Well, just for context, WorkPack allows estimators to automatically detect walls, doors, windows, rooms, labels, tables, symbols, and patterns from inside the 2D PDF. And allows them to complete quantity takeoff 5 to 10 times faster. And so a few things. One, PDFs are kind of the common language of construction, or 2D plans are the common language of construction. The 3D model is a helpful tool, but the full-size plans are on the site. Everybody's got 2D plans pulled up, and the 2D plans are tied to the contract. And so, everybody's liable and responsible to, do takeoff to verify, what's in the 2D. Now, occasionally the 3D model is, provided to everyone on the project. I was talking to one large construction company the other day where everybody on their pre-construction team is trained in Revit. More than a dozen people, and that's impressive, right? Because they're all doing modeling themselves and doing stuff. But on most teams, most estimators are not trained in Revit. They're not trained on any of the 3D model tools, and so they can't diagnose when there are issues. And if there's a small issue, they're on the hook. So, the 3D model can spit out the quantities once you're at 100% CDs, and, everything's been labeled properly. And if there's a VDC person on the team to generate it, great. But most of the team doesn't know that. And further, you start sending those quantities out to subcontractors, and then some of those numbers are wrong. It's like, that's a big problem. So we think that, everybody working on the same project should be working from the same documents and the same data, regardless of 2D, 3D, architect, owner, GC, subcontractor, or supplier. And so we sort of provide a data layer on top of the plans that enables estimators to understand the job much faster, get all the information they need, and then share it with whoever they want to. So, you organize the data the way that you want to into different packages, and then send it out to whoever you want. And so you can digest the information much faster, understand the job much faster, split everything up the way you want to much faster, and then share it the way you want to much faster. And so that's just not possible. Or it's certainly not as easy in the 3D model with the tools that you have. Most estimators will tell you they want to use the 3D model as a resource, very helpful as a resource, but it's not the primary tool that they want to use to do the estimate, and it's not the primary tool that they want to kind of collaborate on.
That makes so much sense. And regarding AI, there have been a lot of advancements in the last, we can say, days, weeks, months,
for sure.
And the last 2 or 3 years, there have been so much out there, and it changes every day. And it's even hard to keep with that, how you use the latest technology, how you apply it, how do you add value. And sometimes you're not even sure you should use it on production because it's not even stable sometimes. So how do you keep up WorkPack, or do you have a plan, or how do you see the market regarding AI?
There are very few AI tools that are useful in daily use. Ours is one of them, but it hasn't been that way for very long, probably since only December or so. And again, we've been working on this for about 5 years. So, and I told customers that, we didn't sell something that was, we didn't say that it did anything that it didn't do, or, sort of like, we just told, like, here's where it is today. Here's what you can do today. Do you want this? Yes or no? And, it takes a long time before that starts to benefit you. But now it's like, everybody's very happy that we do that. We have users who don't churn and they use the product every day and all of that. And so there are a few things. One, with AI, the tools need to be built properly to enable good prompting, good setup or prompt or whatever on the front end, right? So it's more of a co-pilot. In our case, is not autopilot. You need to provide context. It's not really artificial in the sense that it's actually doing real work, and it's not really intelligent in the sense that it doesn't know anything that the estimators know. So it doesn't have any experience. You got to provide the context on what it is as part of that setup, and then it generates a lot of data really fast. So the takeoffs that take hours, days, or weeks, get done by Workpack in seconds or minutes, and that's incredible. But it's sort of like having an intern with no feelings is what we kind of talk about. It can do as much work as you ask it to. You ask it to do duplicate work, or you can delete all its work, or it's not going to get mad, right? So you just have to provide the context, then be able to correct it, classify, create whatever you want after that data gets generated, and then filter and export the data in the way that you want to use it in your estimate. And so those are really the three concepts of good AI tools. AI, we have 7 different AI models in our product. Each one is sort of like a dog doing an individual trick, and because we've stitched it together with good software, it's a very useful tool. But AI only does what you train it to do. It doesn't it's not like going to take over the world kind of thing. It's just that with AI, what happened is that anything that you can train an AI model to do, the cost of work approaches zero. So it's sort of like everything moved to the cloud because the cost of storage went down to close to zero. Now the cost of work for anything that you could train an AI model to do is now approaching zero. So there will be a lot more AI tools, a lot more, because everything that you can train an AI model to do will be done by somebody. That's for sure, because of the time savings. You could make work basically free, free work, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I really love what you the way you describe it as a co-pilot or as an intern that will help you do the job. Like it will not do the job for you. You will still need to work on it, but the amount of hours is going to be reduced considerably. I remember I was working on a large hotel in Vegas a couple of years ago, and I remember there was one room. Well, there were two rooms. One room was for the guys who were updating the schedule. So the 3 guys, the only work was to update the schedule, and then the room next to it was the guys who were doing estimations based on the PDFs. And for me, it was like, it's insane. How are we not automating this? And these poor souls are just doing the same thing over and over again instead of just adding value somewhere else. So I'm glad that's changing. At least
there's a lot of even the people who do that. Then the all of the information, everything that they do, everything they've learned about the job, gets stuck in a PDF on their own computer and in an Excel spreadsheet in most cases. And so that information is stuck, and then they're finally awarded the job some time later, and then that it's not shared with the project managers. There's one kickoff meeting. It's like you don't have any just-in-time information that you can go back to in a relevant situation, whenever you need it, right? It's not, maybe it's on some server somewhere that's shared or something like that, but then it requires it down. It's really hard to get to, and so, we provide a data layer on top of the plans that, all that information that the estimator gets when they first estimate the job then gets shared, throughout the team. And so, everybody talks about having all this data in construction, but what you have spreadsheets maybe, but you don't really have structured data in a way that you can actually use it. Data is only as valuable as, what you can use it for.
Yeah, and even if you want to do it, like we have worked with a couple of GCs creating data warehouses and centralizing the. And even if you want to do it, it's still extremely hard because you centralizing the data doesn't mean that you can track the data across platforms. And for you to do that, you need to at least have a relationship between different parts of the buildings and ID that it should be the same ID in all platforms. And there is no way to do that, even more when you're building something that is not going to be just one company. It's going to be a GC with thousands of subs at the same time, and all of them feeding the information. So it's extremely hard. I don't think that's going to happen for a long time. Like, even if you have the money, the time, and we have better standards on how to fill data, on how to use, like how to integrate everything, that's not going to happen for a long time. At least not on a large scale with a company having all the, buildings in the same place, in the same way. And it's hard. I feel it's just going to be portions of the process centralized and then combined over time, maybe.
Yeah, maybe so. I mean, I think the model enables some things. I think we're already seeing that Workback enables some of these things, but you need to have the tools in a structured way. I mean, certainly for estimating, if everything is a name and a measurement, and every estimator on the team has a different naming convention, you can't do it, right? The data is not structured. It requires a huge lift to try to standardize all your data after the fact, and then it's kind of an impossible task at that point, but you can do some high level things, certainly. If you have a standardized estimating template that everybody's been using for a long time in spreadsheet form. So yeah, I mean, I think you'll see some things get done, and then maybe some more exciting things that will get done. We'll see how it goes.
Absolutely. And speaking about that, what's the roadmap for your company now? What are you planning to do in the next, 5-10 years?
So we start from a couple of principles. One, it's that everybody working on the same project should be able to work from the same documents and the same data, regardless of 2D, 3D, architect, owner, GC, subcontractor, supplier. Everybody should be able to work together from the same, the same data. So that's one thing. And then the second piece is everything that gets designed should get tracked, picked up in the takeoff and tracked all the way through to close out. And so that you can track, material and labor where it needs to go as a specialty contractor. And then the GC can make sure that they have no scope gaps, anywhere. Everything that gets designed, all the design intent gets captured, and then all the way through to purchasing, you have everything. And then all the way through to close out, you have all the quantities. We'll see where that takes us, right? I mean, we're trying to help, solve for those things. I think they're pretty big problems, and we'll see where the customers take us,
They are big problems, and excited to see what you come up with in the future. And when you said, where your customers takes you, that's the right way. Like, you just need to keep solving your customer problems. It doesn't matter what you want to do. It matters if you're invited to them or not, right?
Yeah, my previous two companies, I had to kind of push. I had to push customers. This one is not that at all. We are very much. Of course we have vision, and we're building towards something that we believe should exist in the world. But customers are pulling us, very, very strongly. The need is very clear, and customers are pulling us for us to build what they want to see. So we just try to be aligned there and keep up with it. So.
Cool. All right. I don't want to take more of your time. I know you're a busy person, but before we wrap up, can I ask you a couple of ping-pong questions?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. A great AC software?
So, I mean, obviously I'm quite biased, that ours is a great, Workpack is a great idea. But, if I have to choose some other ones, I mean, certainly, our partners, with 3 partnerships that we signed this year and very, very excited about, Estimating Edge being one of them, Stack being another one. They just launched their Workpack integration recently. Estimating Edge is launching theirs here in the coming, either days or weeks now, or at the end of April here. So, and then Procore is another partner of ours. We're launching an integration this quarter. So, those are great ones. We certainly see a lot of good companies in AEC, from tech companies, and we're excited about where the industry is going broadly. So
nice. Congrats on your partnerships. Can you tell me the next big trend in the AC?
Well, I mean, again, somewhat biased, but AI is a transformational technology. There's a lot of hype around it now, but I mean, that's because of the time savings that people are seeing and like what it's doing now, and the value that it's generating in specific cases. But that's going to explode across. Again, anything that you can train an AI model to do, the cost of work goes down to zero. And so, like where that value generation is, of course, there are going to be a huge number of AI solutions across all the industries, and of course, we're going to have co-pilots for everything. So,
I agree. If you could collaborate with any person in history, which person would you choose?
I saw that. It's like, I don't know, Jesus, right? I mean, it's like, probably. So, and to a certain extent, there is a way to collaborate with on everything, which is kind of cool. But certainly from kind of a secular standpoint, Leonardo, an incredible kind of multifaceted individual, across art, and he kind of embodied the spirit of entrepreneurship across different tools and mediums. So it'd be a good one.
That's a really good choice for sure. Outside the AC, what are your hobbies or activities you have passion for?
Definitely sports and time with family. I think a lot of it starts at home. If you build, good family foundation, you can actually go on this entrepreneurial journey a lot easier. It's certainly a stressful one individually, but when you have good support, all these different blocks, foundations around you, quite helpful. So those are some.
Good. Last but not least, what's your favorite building in the world, and have you ever visited?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of cool buildings, and I love this question. But for me, I did grow up playing baseball. I think Fenway Park is the most exciting building that I've been in. It carries, the history and then also, kind of the novelty. It just carries a lot in it. And, the buildings that we inhabit create their own environment. And so whether it's a sports stadium or, art museum or religious venue, I mean, there is a spirit that inhabits the buildings that we build and create. And so if done properly and done well, we can create great places where, people can thrive. So that's one for you.
Nice. Good memories. Like, I love when people choose a building that it's related for what their experience is on that specific building, and not only just at a specific place because it's a famous place or something. Everything is valid though. So before we say goodbye, can you tell everybody where they can know more about Workpack and where they can contact you as well? Workpack.ai, and you can find us on LinkedIn, or you can
email me directly if you like, Marty at workback.ai. Be excited to hear from you, and hope this was helpful, and appreciate being here. Thanks, Valentin.
Yeah. No, thanks to you, and everybody be aware, Marty is a busy guy. We tried to arrange a lunch in Miami where we both live. Haven't been able to, but I promise we're going to do that in June because I'm about to leave to Europe for a month. So when I'm back, I promise I will contact you again so we can have lunch or mojitos or Peruvian food. I don't know what's your favorite thing in Miami.
All of them sound great. So any and all of them. Maybe we can combine a couple of them.
That's a good idea. Okay, man. Thanks very much for being here. It was so much fun.
Appreciate it, Valentin. Bye, everybody.
Yeah. Hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thanks to our listeners. If you like this content, you can find past and upcoming episodes in ascworks.everse.com and at all of our Everse social media. We'd love to hear from you and recommendations for new content, so leave us a DM and we'll make sure to catch it.